Namaskar. Myself Dr. Deepti Bisht, Professor, Department of Kai Chikitsa, Faculty of Ayurvedic Sciences, Jyoti Vidyapith, Women's University. In today's session for class BMS 4th year, I am going to take lecture about hepatitis. Today in this lecture, we will learn about various types of hepatitis and their diagnostic features plus clinical features. So let's start the topic. As all of you know, hepatitis is an inflammation of liver tissue which is usually manifested as yellow discoloration of the skin, eyes. There is reduced appetite, vomiting or nausea, abdominal pain, and diarrhea. Various types of hepatitis which you are known, hepatitis A, B, C, D, and etc. So, if we classified hepatitis, we can classify it according to phases like acute hepatitis, chronic hepatitis, and fulminant hepatitis. On basis of causes, hepatitis can be of infectious cause like viral, parasitic, and bacterial. It may be due to metabolic causes like alcoholic hepatitis, non-alcoholic hepatitis, or drug-induced hepatitis. Third type is autoimmune type of hepatitis. In others, we can include genetic or ischemic hepatitis. First of all, acute hepatitis. Acute hepatitis is most commonly usual. Uh, it is usually viral in nature. Most common type of acute hepatitis is usually viral hepatitis, and the feature is that it usually resolves in 2 to 6 months. It can progress to chronic hepatitis in certain cases, and rarely it may result in acute liver failure. Common features which can be seen are nausea, vomiting, loss of appetite, fatigue, and fever, etc. These are the prodromal symptoms which are usually seen in first phases. Usually, acute hepatitis can be divided into three phases: acute phases, uh, which is called as prodromal phases, then second one is expeditive stage, and third one is the recovery phases. So in the first stages, the main features which are seen are nausea, vomiting, fatigue, poor appetite, headache, body ache, and fever. Then in second stages, that is expeditive stage, which occurs usually after 1 to 2 weeks, there is yellowing of skin, sclera, there is enlarged liver, right abdominal pain or discomfort may be present there. In the last stage, that is recovery stage, clinical symptoms mainly resolve with persistent elevations in liver function test. So, mostly hepatitis B cases are observed in case of acute hepatitis, which usually resolve in 3 to 4 months. And if there is hepatitis A and E, it resolves after 1 to 2 months. So these are the clinical features of acute hepatitis. Complications of acute hepatitis may result in fulminant hepatitis or polycytic hepatitis. Similarly, in complicated cases, there may be hepatocellular carcinoma or cirrhosis of liver. Next is chronic hepatitis. When hepatitis is continuous for more than 6 months, then it is considered as chronic hepatitis. Mainly, it is detected by liver function tests where serum AST and ALT levels are usually high, and symptoms like fatigue, nausea, vomiting, joint pain, and later jaundice is very common. It can interfere with hormonal functions also. There may be acne, hirsutism, and amenorrhea in case of females. In advanced stages, cirrhosis of liver, ascites, edema-like complications may occur in chronic hepatitis. Next is fulminant hepatitis. It is a rare kind of hepatitis, but it is considered as dangerous complication of acute hepatitis. Basically, the clinical features are similar to signs of acute hepatitis. The specific signs are coagulopathy and encephalopathy. Most commonly, hepatitis B, and hepatitis E can be converted to fulminant hepatitis if not treated on time. Coagulopathy means easy bruising or bleeding tendency inside or outside the body. Similarly, encephalopathy means there is condition of confusion, delirium, or disorientation in patient. The complications which are usually seen in fulminant hepatitis are gastrointestinal bleeding, sepsis, cerebral edema, and kidney failure. So because of these complications, this is considered as one of the dangerous hepatitis. Next is viral hepatitis. This is most common type of hepatitis which is seen in scenario. Here, hepatitis A and E, the route of transmission in these two hepatitis is fecal-oral route, and usually this is self-limited. Usually this is self-limited, so that's why hygiene play a very important role in case of its transmission. Hepatitis B and C usually spread through body fluid, blood, and mucous membrane. In adults, hepatitis B is usually self-limiting, whereas hepatitis C usually leads to chronic infection. So, this kind of hepatitis may either present as acute or as chronic. Next is parasitic hepatitis. Here the causative organism is basically a protozoan. Commonly founded protozoans are Trypanosoma cruzi and Leishmania, which can cause inflammation of liver cells. There is Antenova hepatolica, which can cause liver abscess, usually observed in sonography. Clinical features are similar to symptoms of acute hepatitis with increased serum IgE levels. That means there may be nausea, vomiting, there may be icterus-like conditions. Next is bacterial hepatitis. Here the causative organism is usually bacteria. Commonly found bacteria are Escherichia coli, Klebsiella pneumoniae, which can cause pyogenic abscess in liver, Salmonella, Typhus, Neisseria meningitidis, and Neisseria gonorrhoeae. They result in acute hepatitis, and bacterial hepatitis can lead to chronic liver disease. These are some infectious causes for hepatitis. Next is hepatitis caused by metabolic disease, that is alcoholic hepatitis and non-alcoholic hepatitis. So first of all, alcoholic hepatitis. Alcoholic hepatitis is usually due to prolonged intake of alcohol. Clinical features are asymptomatic hepatomegaly. There may be acute or chronic hepatitis. Liver failure is common complication in case of alcoholic hepatitis. So, alcoholic liver disease basically spreads like alcoholic steatosis is developed. First of all, there is accumulation of free fatty acids in liver cells. This is considered as least severe and most reversible condition of liver. Then it may convert it to alcoholic hepatitis if the causative agent, that is alcohol, is not stopped. This alcoholic hepatitis cause inflammation of liver cells, and it can further develop to cirrhosis, and ultimately cirrhosis may get complicated into liver cancer. This is most severe stage, and it is an irreversible stage. So, so hepatitis due to alcohol is called alcoholic hepatitis. Next is non-alcoholic hepatitis, which is usually occurs due to metabolic syndrome, obesity, insulin resistance, or diabetes mellitus. Metabolic syndrome includes certain group of diseases which include hypertension, hyperglycemia, or deranged lipid profile. So early signs are usually asymptomatic or mild right upper quadrant pain, and second one is abnormal LFTs on laboratory investigations. In later stage, symptoms of chronic hepatitis and fatty liver may develop. So the course of non-alcoholic hepatitis runs like, first of all, there is non-alcoholic fatty liver disease or NALD, which develops to non-alcoholic steatohepatitis, which is also reversible condition if causes stop. Then it If not stopped, then it may lead to cirrhosis and ultimately to liver cancer. Cirrhosis and liver cancer are usually the irreversible stage where the liver cells get damaged fully. Next hepatitis is drug-induced hepatitis. Here, certain drugs cause malfunctions in liver cells. First of all, most common drug is paracetamol, which is usually used as analgesic or an antipyretic. It can result in acute liver failure. Then certain antibiotics like amoxicillin, clavulanate, and nitrofurantoin, they can cause liver injury. Then INH and nitrofurantoin, again, this can cause liver injury. Valproate and phenytoin, which are used in depression or anxiety cases. This is also responsible for liver cell damage. Then statins, which are usually used as lipid-lowering agents, these are also harmful for liver. Then anabolic steroids and oral contraceptive pills may also cause certain damages. Certain herbal medicines and dietary supplements are also responsible for drug-induced hepatitis. So, in laboratory investigations, liver function tests are usually seen impaired. Next type is autoimmune. Here, the cause is some abnormal immune response against the liver cells. Here, the clinical features vary from acute or chronic hepatitis to fulminant liver failure. Usually, on laboratory investigations, liver function tests are seen abnormally increased. Autoantibodies may be found, that is, ANA or SMA. ANA means anti-nuclear antibody, and SMA means smooth muscle antibody. Certain drugs like nitrofurantoin, hydralazine, methyl-dopa are also responsible for autoimmune hepatitis, and this may cause cirrhosis of liver and ultimately carcinoma liver. Next type of hepatitis may be due to genetic cause. Here, deficiency of alpha-1 antitrypsin or hemochromatosis and Wilson's disease. These are some conditions. In first one, that is alpha-1 antitrypsin deficiency, which usually found in neonatal period and childhood. Here, there is abnormal accumulation of protein in liver cells, which causes damage to liver cells and ultimately hepatitis may occur. The second one is Wilson's disease. Here, excess copper is deposited in liver and brain, which ultimately leads to liver cell damage and hepatitis. It is also seen in neonatal period and childhood mainly. The last one is hemochromatosis, which is usually seen in adulthood and usually after the age of 50 years. Here, excess iron deposits in multiple body sites, including the liver, damaging the liver cells. The last type of hepatitis is ischemic type of hepatitis, which occurs due to decreased blood flow to liver in some conditions like shock, heart failure, vascular insufficiency, or certain accidents. It usually resolves if underlying cause is corrected. Here, laboratory investigations reveal very high level of AST and ALT. So I have discussed various kinds of hepatitis here. Cases of the complications of acute hepatitis have also been discussed. Now I will discuss about something about chronic hepatitis. As you know, chronic inflammatory reaction in liver, which are present on clinical or other grounds without improvement for more than 6 years, result in chronic hepatitis. And its etiology is basically hepatitis B, C, and D. Here, drugs like methyl-dopa and ketoconazole, nitrofurantoin are also responsible for it. In case of chronic hepatitis, clinical features generally include fatigue, malaise, fever, and failure to recovery from acute hepatitis. Jaundice may be persistent or intermittent. Hepatomegaly with or without splenomegaly can be seen, and there are signs of hepatocellular failure. The most important point is diagnosis of chronic hepatitis, and this type of hepatitis is very common. In diagnosis, we can see high bilirubin levels with very high aminotransferase levels and prolonged prothrombin time. Similarly, anti-necrotic factor, anti-smooth muscle antibody, they may be present. Hypoalbuminemia and hypoglobinemia, which is of autoimmune variety, can be seen here. And liver biopsy is ultimately the diagnostic tool to diagnose this chronic type of hepatitis. Similarly, association of lymphadenopathy is also seen with hepatitis, where there is lymphoma, there can be leukemia sometimes. Viral hepatitis is also seen here. So these are certain kinds of types which I have discussed. In the next lecture, we will discuss about the diagnostic tools and management of all the types of hepatitis. So, hope you will get benefit from this lecture. I will advise you to read it from the textbook. Thank you. Have a nice day.